What's up, Bunters? We are back again today for episode 3 in our Tops Bunt University. Episode 1, we just sort of looked at the basics of the app. In episode 2, we broke down the various tiers of the app. And now in episode 3, we are going to talk a little bit more about trading. And I'm going to give you some basically do's and don'ts of tradings. These are kind of general guidelines that will hopefully help you while crafting trades and considering trades. These are for beginners who just don't even know where to begin when they start to send a trade, or they don't understand why all their trades are getting rejected. Hopefully these guidelines, these principles will help you. One thing I do want to say up top is that anytime you make a declarative statement of some type, you take a stand in one way or another, there's going to be people that say, I actually think differently, or I would do it this way, or whatever, right? Just to say, everyone is different, and just use these 12 guidelines or principles to sort of generally help you. Understand that, some people are going to be different, but if you follow these, it's going to generally help you in the long run. Okay, so the very first thing that I want to cover is don't send people cards they already have. That right there is going to eliminate about half of your issues. I'll show you an example of a type of trade that often drives me a little crazy. Let's see if I go to the feed here and just find a user. Let's see. So let's say I think I need to show an example. I need someone with a pretty big account, so we'll use this one here. Okay. So let's build this out. Let's say I need these 3 cards. And actually, let's use a different example. Let's use this set here. I need these 3 cards here, right? These are in the geometric base set. And I go to send a trade to the Fantasy King here. And I look for geometric base. And I only have 1 rare that he needs. So I select that. Oh, he doesn't even need that. I only have 1 rare that's a dupe. But let's say I change this trade. And I send him this offer of he gets a Lawrence Butler he already has, and I get a Shohei Ohtani that I don't have. That is an awful trade for the other person. I understand why I want to do that, right? Because I'm getting a card I need. And you might think, oh, but they're getting a card on the same level. And this isn't even taking into account that, the player quality matters, of course, that I'm getting back Shohei and he's getting back Lawrence Butler. But it's just a principle of I'm getting something I need and I'm not giving them anything they need. This is a selfish trade. It's a selfish swap. You always have to consider that, trading is a two-way street. And you need to be helping the person on the other side. If you can't help them, and that will be the case, there are people who have such big accounts that you can't help them, then you just shouldn't trade with them. One of the big things I often tell people is to try to trade with people closer to their collection score rating, because those people are going to have just as many holes in their collection as you do, and it's going to allow you to better match and find cards that each other needs, right? This type of trade, even though on paper you think it looks fair because we're matching rares in the same subs in the same set, he has a dupe, so what's the problem? It's a selfish trade. If someone sends that to me, I'm rejecting it 100 times out of 100. Now, this especially is a somewhat controversial take, because there are plenty of people, especially free to play players, who think this is insane and would say that, if they have a dupe, then why wouldn't they give up the dupe to somebody else who needs it? I'm just telling you to help you out long term. That is not the way most people think on this app. And if you send a lot of trades where the other person is not getting a card they need, then you are going to get low ratings and rejections. Okay, so that is number one. Number two, singles are almost never available for trade. Okay, so let's look at this account, and let's say again I want this geometric base set. This may be a bad example for this guy because he might not have any singles of this that I need, but let's see. So we're searching for geometric, and perfect. Okay, so you can see here he has 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 16 cards I need. These cards are singles for him, right? Because up here it shows that they've got 2 of these and 3 of these and 4 of the Cattell Marte. If I were to select these cards and I were to send him cards he needs, even if I were to send him better cards, let's say I were to send him super rares instead of rares, or lower CC cards, just generally better cards, he's still going to reject this trade. And the reason is because these cards are part of either a set he's already built or a set he's working on. Usually, again, general guidelines, this is usually the case. This is especially true on lower level trades. Super rare, rare, uncommon, common, tiers, the base tiers. Especially true on those levels. It gets a little bit murkier on iconic and legendary. Bigger trades for higher dollar value cards are kind of a separate thing. It's hard to have it's impossible to have a dupe of a 101, right? And it's hard to have a dupe of a card that's limited to 5 or something. So when you're talking about those trades, it's a little bit different. But when you're dealing with these lower level tiers where people are completing sets, the singles are almost never for trade, especially, on those lower tiers. Okay. Number 3, global count, or CC, which is like card circulation, card count, matters more than tier. There are very few exceptions on this, and we kind of went over it in the tier video before, but let's drive it home here with an example. So global count matters more than tier, and we will, for instance, select this card here. So let's say, actually, let's go up a level here. This is better shown, I think, as we get up here. So let's look at an iconic trade of this card here. So let's say this 359 CC iconic, I offer to trade for as we get my filters right, I'm selecting cards they need. That's an important part, right? Let's say they send me this offer here. Okay. Oh, we got to get rid of Lord's Butler. Okay. So let's say this is the offer. They want to send me this Anthony Rizzo, and they're asking for this Aaron Judge in return. The Aaron Judge is a rare with a global count of 100, and this is an iconic with a global count of 359. I am going to reject this trade all day long. I'd much rather have the card where there's only 100 of them, regardless of the fact that it's Aaron Judge, although that does matter too, of course. Player quality matters. than the card that there's 359 of, right? I don't care that it says iconic. I don't care that it says rare. I care what the global count is. So global count or CC matters more than tier. And again, the examples we looked at in those tiers trades is where people send these super high rares, and that's going to be the case if you're a new player. You probably don't have very good cards. It's just going to take time. It's going to take money. It's going to take experience for you to have good, valuable cards. And so, what nobody wants is your low, your high CC cards that aren't worth much for their low CC cards that are worth something. So make sure you take into account the CC and not just the tier. Okay, next up is send active set cards for active set cards. And so this is really important because, again, a key part of this app is that people are trying to complete sets so that they can get awards. And so you need to ensure that when you are sending cards that you want to try to receive for an active set, you are sending also active set cards because the other person doesn't want, sold out stuff from 21 or 22 for cards that actively help them get an award. Part of the reason for that too is because they just know they can get more for those cards because they're active sets, because they're more in demand. Nobody is, there's no real demand for your 22 gold label Andre Dawson card, but there is for, the Bowman Sapphire cards that are out right now. So be sure when you're crafting a trade, you're sending active sets for active sets, and just in case we're not clear about what an active set is, these are active sets, the stuff that's in the store. You can also go to sets and look at awards, and you can see, for instance, that Youthquake is ending in 6 hours and 47 minutes. So it is active right now. It'll be a sold out set in 7 hours. So, postseason is one right now that people are trying to complete sets. So this postseason base, I still need 3 of the super rares to complete the set. When I go to send a trade for those 3 cards, I need to make sure I'm sending, ideally postseason base red that people need. But if someone doesn't need those, then other active super rare needs, finest miniseries. What else is out right now? Just Topps Finest specifically is done in 4 days. Leaders, all of these active sets. Bowman Sapphire, Chrome Sapphire, all these various sets, right? These are active sets. Make sure to send active for active. All right. Next up, 2012 to 2019 cards are much harder to trade for than 2020 to 2025. That is just the reality. We'll pull up my 2012 to 2019s, or at least just some older 2012s, 2013, 2014. Okay. These cards, that's in all cards. I'm trying to do mine. Here we go. Okay. These cards are so much more difficult to acquire from people than 2020 to 2025. Partly because almost, you can see I don't have very many dupes of these cards. I do have of some, but these cards are just harder to get, so they're going to be harder to trade for. Coupled with the fact that the people that have them, they have them for a reason. One, they were either on the app at the time when this stuff came out, or they've specifically gone out and traded or bought these cards. And so people are very intentional about the 2012 to 2019 stuff that they have in their account, and it's going to be extremely difficult to trade for them. What they're not going to do is take the higher CC junk from 2020 to 2025 for this valuable, difficult to find 2012 to 2019 stuff. Okay, and next up, Rookies are more in demand in the market than active players. This is just like the physical market, right? Just like in collecting, where there's a hot new rookie every single year. It's the same way in digital cards. So somebody like we can. This is actually maybe a perfect example set here. This creature feature collection. This is a Nick Kurtz rookie card. It's got the rookie card label. This is a Nolan Arenado card. There's nothing especially special about this card. Maybe a Nolan Arenado collector or a St. Louis Cardinals collector will trade their Nick Kurtz rookie for a Nolan Arenado, but almost nobody else will, right? In the long run, rookie cards have more value. That's just a rule of reality of the market of sports cards. And so good players like Nick Kurtz, rookie cards, are going to have more value in trade. And so let's say, you send this Nolan Arenado to someone for this Nick Kurtz, and they need the Nolan Arenado. They have dupes of the Nick Kurtz, and you think that seems like a really fair trade. Well, they're giving up the rookie, and they're not going to want to do that. So you need to look and find a similarly valuable rookie to send for the Nick Kurtz, or you're going to get rejected. Again, there are exceptions. Some people just want to complete sets, and you can just try to do that. And some people do it specifically to try to kind of win the trade. They think someone's not going to care that it's a rookie or something, but most people in the app do care, and so you need to consider that when you're crafting your trades. Okay, this is a tough one here. Secondary market value is king. It is at the end of the day, you can do everything right. You can grab, a dupe from somebody. It can be active set for active set. It could be good players. It could be rookie for rookie, whatever. You can do everything we've talked about. But if the card that you are trying to take from somebody has more monetary value than the cards you're giving up, you're going to get rejected. And this app is filled with just random cards that are worth a significant amount of money that you maybe wouldn't even know or expect. Let me see if I can find one one random card here, that a very popular card. I'm not sure of the year. I think it's maybe 2014. We're going to do this just to be sure. And we're going to search for Jobu. Let's see here. Perfect. Okay. So this Jobu super rare, right? CC of 145. Very cool oddball card that's in the app. And maybe you have an equally cool super rare oddball card that's in the app. So let me look up Dan Marino. There is a super rare Dan Marino in here. Here we go. Okay, and his CC is 200. And so, all right, you're like, I have dupes of this cool Dan Marino card. I want that Jobu card. Somebody has dupes of that, so I'm going to send a trade. Well, this Dan Marino card is worth about $10 to $15, and the Jobu card is worth $150. Or $100 to $150, right? And so you are going to get rejected in one start because you just try to take $140 from somebody, right? And you will not know that inherently. You have to go into Facebook groups. You have to go to eBay. You have to use 130point.com. All of these resources to go and look up the values of bunt cards to understand what the values might be. So highly recommend. There's some great Facebook groups that you can join where you can just watch the market unfold on a daily basis. There are sometimes tens of thousands of dollars a day that change hands on the secondary market. and all you have to do is be in there and keep an eye out, and watch it happen, and it'll give you a better idea of which cards are worth what. Okay, next up, consider the contest player. All right, this is a very tough one to learn, and I actually have a good example in here. This trade right here. So, this person is, what it appears to me, is a contest player. The reason I say that is because as the day I'm recording this, is Game 7 of the 2025 World Series between the Jays and the Dodgers. And the pitching matchup is expected to be Shohei Ohtani versus Max Scherzer to start. And so what he's trying to do is get a 10x boost Max Scherzer, for the contest. And it's important because you need 10 of each player in the contest. And so why that matters, for instance, let's say I were to want to make a trade with him. And actually, you can see this is actually a perfect look right here. He has 10 of both of these cards here, right? Of this Cam Schlittler and Noah McLean. He's got 10 of both of those. The reason he has 10 is because when you're building out a contest lineup, as you maybe hear my dog groaning in the background, he's tired of listening to me drone on here, but he needs 10 of each of these cards for the contest, because you've got to fill in the 10 slots. And so you might look at him having 10 of those cards and say, oh, well, I bet one is for trade. And in reality, none of those are for trade. Some of these where he's maybe got 7 or 8 also aren't for trade. He's trying to actively get 2 or 3 more of those cards so that he has enough for a contest. Again, this is one of those things that takes time and experience to kind of see who is a contest player and who isn't and what they value. To be clear, the offer he sent me is a trash offer. This is a very, very, very bad offer. I am going to decline and 1-star him right now. Because what he's trying to do is get a 10x boost player, which is a massive boost, for the contest tonight, and he's sending me 2 NA card players. And again, we covered not all NA are created equal, and in fact, these aren't necessarily even that common. Those they're the CCs on those aren't going to be as bad as some of the other top 100 cards, but I would much, much, much rather have the 10x Max Scherzer, and so would just about anybody else that plays contests on these apps. A lot of contest players try to do things like this. They try to act as if the cards they're getting don't have a lot of value, and try to give up junk for them. It's just the reality of how this app operates, right? So you have to, 1, you have to be on the lookout for that, and 2, when you're trading with a contest player, you have to understand that they are trying to get 10 of many of their cards, especially the high boost cards. And so if you try to trade for one of them, you're going to get rejected, and you're going to say, why in the world was I rejected? He had 8 of that card, and I was giving him something he didn't have. It doesn't matter. They want 10 of that card. And so, yeah, that's something to consider, the contest player. Okay. Don't put your trade partner at risk. Now, this is an important one. Especially on bigger trades. What you're going to have sometime is you'll have people, let's start a new trade here. You'll have people do something like this. They will, because one thing to keep in mind in any negotiation, right? Any trade negotiation, whether it be business, whether it be with your partner, your significant other, whether it be in this app, the person who makes the first offer is in the weakest position. It's just the way life works, right? And so what you might have is people trying to avoid making the first offer by sending a junk trade like this. They might send a tier 1 card for a legendary and put in the comments, hey, what do you want for this, right? So what you're doing, one, that sucks. That's a, a bad faith way to participate in this trading market, is instead of actually creating an offer and sending a real offer, and then sending a comment, to just send a tier 1 and then for a legendary and put the onus on them to craft the trade. But the way you could do this and be fair is if you were to make a real offer and then put a comment on, feel free to revise. Now, the reason I've phrased this as don't put your trade partner at risk is because what you're doing in this instance, from the other point of view, is if the other person accidentally accepts, and that happens all the time, people do accidentally accept trade offers, then they've just traded a tier 1 for a legendary. If you want to start a conversation with somebody in the app, this card is Eduardo Quintero. He's actually a massive prospect for the Dodgers. What I would recommend doing is I would find the tier 1 of the same player, and I would send that with a comment. And so the trade looks like this. That doesn't put anybody at risk. If he did accidentally accept, the trade would actually void. And so in this instance, nobody is at risk, and you can have a conversation and say, hey, what do you want for that Eduardo Quintero 50cc legendary, right? That is a better way to do it. Okay, this is another one. Never, ever, ever talk money in-app. That is a surefire way to get you and even potentially the person you're messaging banned and kicked off the app. This is a cardinal sin. Sometimes what we've seen, let's use this Eduardo Quintero example again. Let's say I were to send a message, send this with a message. Hey, how much are you willing to sell that Eduardo Quintero for? That's terrible. Don't do that. It is against Bunt's terms and conditions to sell, especially in app, any of your cards. So do not ever talk about money in app. If you are someone that participates in the secondary market, don't ever make comments in the app like, hey, I sent you the $20 via PayPal, or hey, I saw your post on Facebook. How much do you want for this card? Don't ever talk about money in the app. It is a major faux pas. Never, ever, ever talk about money. Okay. Next. And last, actually, it costs absolutely nothing to be kind to people. There is so much toxicity in this app. There is no reason to add to it. Let's say someone violates some of these rules in some way. Let's say someone sends you a card that you already have for cards they need, and you're like, why are you being selfish? This is a terrible trade. All you have to do is hit the decline button. It's so easy. I didn't with this guy here. I felt like he sent me a terrible trade. I didn't send him a clown emoji or what are you trying to do, bro, or like this is trash or anything. All I did was I hit the decline button, hit the one star, and I moved on with my life, right? Now, granted, I will give you, I am blasting the guy publicly here, so sorry about that. I don't know, Chiquit Ranchi. Sorry, but this is just bad timing on your part. But generally, there is no reason to in the app send this hostility out into the world, to people. You never know who's on the other side on this. It could be a kid. It could be someone going through something really tough right now. It could be someone that just started the app and doesn't understand how it works. All you have to do is hit the decline button, hit the 1-star button if you have to, whatever you want. But don't put more hostility out there into this app. It is full of it. We don't need any more of it. Okay, that's it. These, again, 12, I think it was, principles, 12 guidelines. Follow them. It will help you. You will get more trades accepted. Your trade rating will go up, or at least it won't go down as much. And you will have a happier existence on Bunt. Okay, I'm sure I forgot some stuff. Whatever I forgot, leave some comments below. What are some things that you think people should be aware of when trading that maybe I didn't cover? Thanks again. This was episode 3 in the Topps Bunt University. Keep an eye out for episode 4. Make sure to subscribe, like, follow, all those things, especially on YouTube. I'd love to get to 50 subscribers because then I can go live. And I would love to, there are some things that I would need to be live to do. And so I would love to get the subscriber count up there. Okay, that's enough. Thanks for watching. Have a great rest.